Right. Let's talk. I purposefully wanted to put my hoodie around my head like this. For some reason, this is just how I wanted to look. So here goes. Right. I've obviously increased the body fat percentage quite a bit by eating the way that I've been eating. I have been eating a lot of, as far as I'm aware anyway, a lot less protein recently. By choice, but more so not because I want to, but because it's financially sensible for me to not go shopping. Rather, unfortunately, it's more sensible for me to not do that than to actually go. So I've just been eating what's there, and what's there that mum and dad buy isn't as necessarily high protein as what I'd get would be, what I bring to the house would be. There's not really much I could do about that other than speaking to them about it and saying, can we get some more chicken or that, this and that in the fridge? But I don't want to, because I'd rather do it myself. Alright, I'll stop that. Yeah, I don't want to because I'd rather do it myself, but in saying that, that has meant, because I'd be eating the same portion sizes back when I'd be having a lot more protein in my diet, I've increased the body fat percentage by quite a bit, even though my weight might be basically exactly the same. My body fat percentage certainly doesn't look it. I did need to go to the toilet beforehand. I wanted to take a pee, but I needed to take a shit, and I did that only after taking today's photo. So that could have been a part of it as to why my stomach looked that bloated. But I don't think it's just that. I think, no, sorry. I don't think it's only that. I think it's body fat percent increase as well. I'll have to deal with that. I'll deal with that later. Yeah, I think it could have been a body fat increase as well because of how I've been eating. I'll get rid of that later. Okay. Actually, speaking of, that reminds me, I really need to get sorted out with my dental stuff. I need to sort that out sooner or later. I was thinking, oh, I don't need to say that. I don't need to put that on the internet. But I actually am, in fact, going to keep it up because that's one of my main motivators for why I want to finish off the rest of the level 2 gym instructor course. I am not willing to lose my teeth over it because I haven't done it, and therefore lose my teeth because my gums will bleed easily, especially here. From time to time, it would bleed easy like it did today, and therefore I could be on the way to getting major sorts of dental problems just because I put too much pressure on myself, or I held myself back in some way from finishing off the poster for whatever reason. Nah, I can't do that. Well, I can, but I'm not willing to. Oh, there you go. Right, my left arm doesn't feel so numb anymore. You can see right up my nose though. Anyway. Mine's gone blank. So, talking about body photos, yeah. It seems like on my lower set of abs, or but perhaps below it, just above the bladder region, body fat percentages, the stomach's it's started to look bigger. In the space of a week, you know. Only a week. But yeah, only a week. It takes only a week to go and get to this point in body fat percentage. Only 1 week. Imagine as I age, it could take even shorter an amount of time than that, or perhaps it might take the same amount. I don't know. I'll certainly find out though. On the premise, I do get older, and no unfortunate accidents happen to me. I'd feel in the past, I'd probably feel fear if I were to say something like that. But now I'm not paranoid. I've thought, oh well, people could be from the mental health alone. Oh, people could be trying to kill me if I were to say something like that. Whatever that would be. On these sorts of videos, just because I'm allowing myself to tell the truth. No, I don't think that anymore. I'm not paranoid. That was unjustified. I'm just here doing my thing. I'm not. What is it? I'm not going out my way to intimidate anyone. I'm not going out of my way to send death threats. I'm not going out of my way to hang out with these sorts of people. In high places who could seemingly do dark things and order dark things. But I'd say that's more so just, that could genuinely be more so just conspiracy or something like that. But yeah, I'm not living in anywhere near as much paranoia as I once was, and unhealthy levels, and I'm no longer living in as much of an unhealthy level of caution as I once was. No longer. I might still be living with caution, and that's more than fine with me. That allows me to that allows me to risk assess and danger assess. That's fine, but just as long as it's healthy. And just as long as I'm no longer setting up the roots for paranoia. I had a dream about a certain way as to how I was feeling paranoid about a certain something, which I'm not going to get into here because the internet doesn't need to know every single little thing. But yeah, I was feeling quite paranoid about said thing, and I wrote my dreams down. I wrote what I experienced down, and yeah, I worked through it. I used the psychology book notes to help me out. Not then and there, but I remembered. Oh well, I remember the A-level psychology book that I got, saying that dreams could come from what we repress in the unconscious mind, and I could have genuinely been repressing my thoughts on said thing. Again, what is that said thing? I'm not saying, because not everything's your business. Nothing's your business. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But if I want to speak about things, I will, but not this time round. So, this is more of a mental health talk, but it all coincides. If my body health is not, if my physical health is not in the healthiest state, then what are the odds that my mental health is going to be in the healthiest state? There's this idea from Akash Vikhala, I don't know how to say the surname, but I think that's it, that the body is the physical representation of the mind, and that idea genuinely could be true. I say that from personal experience only, really. The more of an unhealthy state I was in physically, the more of an unhealthy state that I was in mentally as well. But now that I'm in of a less unhealthy state physically, it just seems like I'm also in more mentally healthy state as well. I believe in order to get to a healthy place physically, we have to have a certain mindset, a certain healthy mindset that supports that physical health. And that's not just looks alone, although that's what I'm primarily talking about, seeing as I'm reviewing my physique through the photos. But I'm also talking about, no, but it also goes further beyond that. I mean, it goes beyond just looks. What's more important to me is how my body's functioning, rather than only how does my body look, if we're talking about ourselves from a physical standpoint. And I'll give some examples as to what I mean here. How much can we lift with proper form during certain exercises? How much do we exercise? What do we do to exercise? Do I have any pain? Yes, foot pain, but I'm in the process of getting that sorted out. And I have been for a while now, actually. What else? Yeah. Can't think of anything else at the moment. I am feeling tired, excuse me. However, those are some examples as to what I mean. Wow, I forgot what I was saying. I'm just going to keep it rolling. I'm going to keep going. Okay, so I want to instead now move on, because I've basically forgotten what I was talking about, and I'm going to think about how can I go back to a healthier state physically. As to me, it looks like, judging from comparing today's photo to last week's photo, it looks like I'm in a much more, not much more, sorry, but slightly more unhealthy state physically. So I have to be careful with that. That's actually why I made the comparison photo, because for the past few weeks I haven't been doing that. I would regularly do that in the past, but I decided not to, because I just I've forgotten why, actually. I've forgotten why I stopped doing it, but I know why I've started doing it again, or at least did it this time round. And the reason why is this: I had concerns for the state of my health, so I took those pictures to further review it. I made that comparison photo to further review it of today's stomach, or today's torso photo, which shows my abs from today, and also from last week. Yeah. In order to get back to a healthier physical state, it might be in my best interest to eat smaller, or to eat, to eat smaller portions in size, especially for now, whilst I'm in the process of starting to eat more healthily than I have been doing recently again, after having money come in, which may actually happen in 2 months. Who knows? Who knows? By the way, I found this old. Look at him. I found this old toy, and I'd like to use this toy as a metaphor. I think that I should allow my mind to be elastic, but not breakable. I think it should be flexible. I think it should be stretchy. I think it should be open to new ideas, but not breakable. Not breakable for people potentially with malicious intentions. to come my way and to try and destroy me and destroy my life for their own entertainment, or perhaps to try and hide the fact that they don't think highly of themselves. But rather than working on themselves internally from the inside and looking within by working through traumas and events that have happened in their past, and instead try and feel like they're above people and boost their self-esteem by bringing others down. But in reality, what they could be doing is, in fact, hiding their low levels of self-esteem. This is not my idea. This is, in fact, an idea that I got from a man on the internet. 2022, called Denzel Mensa on YouTube. And this idea I got from a lady. It was from a video in which he was in, but it wasn't the channel he was making videos on. I don't know what that's called, or even if he has one, or even if he's made one. But the channel name that I got that from is from Heidi Priebe? I don't know. But it's spelled HEIDIPREIBE. Again, HEIDIPREIBE. I might have spelled the surname incorrectly, however, I really think that's it. The phone cut out because it died, so here I am now, a few minutes after. I just played about with the cross trainer with my foot. Right, okay, now it's actually no, it's time to get this done. So I've been clearly talking more about mental health than about food, so I'll just summarize here before we move on. Just so that I don't put on a big belly and I don't increase my body fat percentage to concerning amounts, seeing as that's where it looks like my body fat percentage is heading because of how I'm eating. I should reduce my portion sizes, specifically in terms of how much carbs I'm having. So, for example, instead of having 200 to 250 grams of rice, I should instead have anywhere from 100 to 150 grams of rice. And I should really go out of my way to add as much protein as I possibly can so that I don't put on an excessive amount of body fat, and I instead put on at least half and half muscle and fat rather than more fat than muscle. Why? Or conditioning, first of all, from all those get abs and build muscle videos. That's where my mind goes to first. So deep ingrained and built in my mind, but rationally speaking, it's not something that I'm putting it on the forefront of my mind. That does not come first before drinking healthy amounts of water, before eating healthy foods, before warmth, before sleep, before clothing, before shelter. All of that build muscle, get abs scams, that does not come first over basic survival needs, rationally speaking. However, that way of thinking of, oh, I want to get abs, won't necessarily go overnight, because I didn't create that way of thinking overnight. It was a way of thinking that I digested from the internet without question over a prolonged period of time. How long? I genuinely don't know, but prolonged. It wasn't just one day. It wasn't just overnight. I started thinking like that. The final straw seemed to be overnight, where I was force feeding myself beef flavored super noodles. That was the brand, super noodles, at around 10 o'clock at night. By that chair, right by the wall. And when I said I had enough, yeah. I forgot where I was going with that. Cut a long story short, I need to. I really want to eat more protein, a lot more tuna if I can. If mum and dad have bought any, a lot more chicken if I can. If mum and dad have bought any, a lot more steak if I can. Again, if mum and dad have bought any, seeing as it's not, in my opinion, a financially sensible decision for me to go shopping right now. It really is as simple as that, in my opinion, because I'm seeing the seeings, and yeah, right now I'm just holding out, really holding out. My financial health is on its last legs, just like how my mental health took a plummet, an absolute plummet. But during that mental health flow that I spoke about in the 1 year transformation, 1 year life transformation journey video that I made in late August, and that I uploaded on the 20th of August. I'm almost certain. Yeah, I'm certain it was the 20th of August, because I uploaded it on that day because that was the night. The 20th of August 2021 was the night that I decided I had enough. So in memory of that moment, I decided to upload it on the 20th, not the 21st, which is when I decided that I'd go on a body transformation journey. Yeah. I don't know what. I was thinking about what sort of things I'd be able to use for high protein meals, but man, oh man. Could this be quite difficult? I'll make it happen though. I'll make it happen. Again, like I said, instead of the 200 to 250 grams of carbs, take that down to 100 to 150. Not because it's a part of the meal plan or anything, but because I'm surviving. I am going out of my way to survive to the most optimal, healthy way that I possibly can. A certain feeling of dread has now set in after saying that. So I think instead of allowing myself to think that through over and over again, even though I might believe it when I say it, I'm instead going to allow myself to think in a much more healthy way, because that might have been not have been the healthiest way of thinking, seeing as I physically felt dread in the form of slight tension setting in my sternum in between my pecs immediately after saying that. Granted, correlation doesn't mean causation. That could have been just something else. However, it was rather convenient it happened immediately after saying what I said, which was, I thought I forgot, but no, I didn't forget, which was, I think I'm surviving right now, just about getting by and existing from day to day. But again, seeing as I think I felt dread, I'm going to say, from saying that, I'm going to say, no, I'm going to allow myself to consciously think differently right here, right now, after saying it, because I'm looking to nip that way of thinking in the bud, because there absolutely can be healthier ways to think other than that. I don't want to put myself in an unhealthy mind space because of my current situation. I have to remember that that way of thinking was irrational because it lacked reasoning. Because I didn't say, well, I'm surviving. Okay, define survival. Define that. And why do I think that? Well, it'd be because of my financial situation and how I'm eating. But when I said it, I didn't think it through that far. So although I do believe that that way of thinking is justified, it wasn't rational right then and there, seeing as I didn't explain it in the moment after saying it. I'll instead say my situation. In my mind, I'm thinking of saying, well, my situation doesn't define me. Like I'm some rebellious teenager or something. Granted, to those quote unquote rebellious teenagers, like I said, and to myself, that absolutely can be true. And I mean that genuinely. However, I want to say something that's actually useful rather than saying something that's only soothing, trying to soothe myself something I'd say in pursuit of trying to soothe myself without actually trying to give solutions for solving my situation. So I'm going to focus on that. Instead of saying I'm just surviving, I can focus on what I just said I wanted to focus on: providing solutions for myself through providing solutions for other people. But before I can do that, I have to provide solutions for myself. How so? Well, I have to go out my way to think about how am I going to improve the state of my financial health. I have to take it I have to go about this in a similar way as to how I went about improving my financial health. How did I start doing that? Well, the first thing I did was allow myself finally to start constantly searching for help and through searching for information related to mental health. Now, this one I didn't do on my own in a sense, because my sister just sent me a video from Therapy in a Nutshell, which is how I know about the channel, which is based on overthinking, which I remember actually speaking about in the 1 year life transformation journey video that I made that I uploaded on the 20th of August this year. Now, I didn't think I actually needed the help at the time. Hence, I didn't go out my way to actively search for it before actually going on that journey. Months after, I got a text from my sister saying, maybe this would be helpful for you to use, which I have to say thank you to her because, or in my opinion, because I might not have been on this journey in this way this quick if she hadn't sent that text. And also I have to say thank you to me. I have to say thank me as well for making that decision to finally click on that video. Speaking of, I have another thing that I want to say related to what I started doing, which meant I've now got to this level in my mental health. I started watching videos on YouTube related to mental health from Therapy in a Nutshell, from the text that my sister sent me. And from that, after long enough, I started doing the exercises that Therapy in a Nutshell gave. I think she is in Therapy in a Nutshell. Emma McAdam is interested in creating exercises for people so that they have mental health knowledge that they can immediately apply into their life, as in immediately, right this second, when going through the exercises, of course. Now, I could do something similar with going out my way to improve my financial health through going out my way to actively search for videos based on improving financial health, even though I might not have got someone sending me a text saying, well, you could watch this, and then I'm open to, I've got a video I can watch and that I could open, which I could use to open my eyes to the world of improving personal finances. I've gone on YouTube and watched videos on budget before, so I have a place where I can start myself, and I'm not gonna get handouts. I'm not gonna get handouts all the time. I'm not entitled to them. I don't deserve them just because I exist the way I exist and just because I am who I am to my family. No, I don't deserve handouts every single time I'm trying to search for something. Oh, can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? No, I don't deserve help. I don't deserve help simply just off the fact that I am a family member within my family. Just because I'm a member within my family, nah, I don't think so. I'll earn my keep. On that one, I'm gonna have to admit I did get a handout. Not a handout that I asked for, but it was still a handout I used. And this time around, because I haven't asked for it, I don't think I'm gonna get one. However, I don't mind that. That's exactly how I want it to be, because I want to be, by not getting a handout, I'm showing to myself that I can go out of my way to actively search for what I want in my life, rather than someone trying to give me a path which they might try and control by saying, "Oh, watch this, or watch this, or watch that," or by doing it by some other means. "Oh, do this, or do that, or do this, or do that." That can certainly help you improve in X way. Fuck off, you scam artist. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. Actually, some of them might be scams. Some of them might not be. Some of them might not be. I do have to be careful with my wording there. I haven't sworn much. I do check myself when I swear. I haven't sworn much, so I think it's okay. But I don't have to allow myself to feel frustrated, which expletives are a sign of frustration when thinking about such things. That said, let's keep on talking. So, what I could do in order to improve my financial health, seeing as I'm really wanting to do that, is to consistently watch videos about it, just like how I did with mental health, to further open my mind to learning more about financial health, or not even necessarily watch videos about it from YouTube, which can be quite the addictive place because of how the feed is set up, because of how the algorithm is set up, and things alike. But what I can do is I can actively go out my way to search for information still. I can absolutely can actively go out my way to search for information. I can go out my way to read articles online. I can go out my way to read mental health related sources which have financial health related advice within it, which I've seen before in the past now that I think about it. So I can certainly start there. For example, I remember reading an article from mind.org which has financial advice in it, from which I got from the depression and anxiety self-assessment quiz, from my memory, that the NHS do, which anyone on the internet might actually be able to be able to find and use, regardless of the country they're in, when they're watching this. For example, American people might actually be able to go on to the NHS depression and anxiety self-assessment quiz, even though they're in the United States of America. Fuck yeah. Perhaps it could be possible, but I don't know. I've never actually been in the United States before. However, going back on topic now, yeah, within the doing the test, I think I found uh, articles. I'm almost certain I found articles from at least one article from mind mind.org or verymind.org about financial health. That's where I got the piece of advice to do shopping with cash rather than shopping with card, which I would personally do, so I don't have any concern or fear in relation to my card declining. No, thank you. No, thank you. Maybe it reminded me. I just thought, gosh, man, I got my card late. I got mine late. I'm not gonna say when, but it was quite late. However, we move. I'm now becoming self-reliant, more self-reliant, day by day, bit by bit, piece by piece. And with that, I'm gonna keep on going, and I'm gonna keep on earning my keep. I'll keep on doing that. Oh, look at that! I have a smile on my face like this guy. I don't know what happened to the black, the smiley face, because I think that was just there even a short while ago. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, it absolutely is within. In this case, seeing as I'm speaking about me, my best interest to stay, not try and force myself to feel happy, but to allow myself to keep on staying mentally healthy through maintaining my mental health on a weekly basis by doing the self-assessment quizzes that the NHS provide, through allowing myself to keep on getting new PRs in the gym, keep on doing the things which I've been wanting to do and have been postponing for a while, such as finishing off that level 2 gym instructor course stuff, such as doing what I need to do with my foot pain, which I'm now in the process of sorting out. Keep on doing them. Keep on doing them, man. Keep on doing them. Just keep on. And also, as for, as you know, I'll relate this back to improving my financial health so that it's all relevant. It's within my best interest to stay mentally healthy in this specific context, to be able to go out my way to further improve my life to new heights, which I never could have imagined that I'd be able to reach. And within this context, that means significantly improving my financial health to levels which I never could have thought I could. I never could have thought I could have reached. Yeah, that sounded like quite the tongue twister, didn't it? I say didn't it as if I'm looking for validation. I actually, I'll quickly address something that's on my mind. I think I'd be looking at the view counts that the videos would get. Would get. How many people would watch the videos, or how many times the videos were viewed, actually watched, in attempt for approval, seeing as I mustn't have been giving myself enough self-approval, because I went out of my way to search for it from the view counts. So although I certainly have given myself approval recently, I have been doing that, I might not have been doing enough of that. I have to remember not to do it excessively, of course, but if I'm going out of my way for a short burst of reward down to a chemical level through looking at view counts, how many times certain videos have been watched, not any video in particular, but just scrolling down from the most not popular, the most recently uploaded videos, just scrolling down a bit, maybe a few times, and then just looking at the recent view counts of the most recent videos that I've uploaded, such as the daily log, getting 15 views. Which was unexpected, seeing as the daily logs are now starting to be viewed maybe like 3 times, maybe like anywhere from 2 to 3 times on average, or maybe slightly more than that. And that's for the daily logs themselves, but as for the weekly health reviews, that's even fewer. However, I say that almost as if there are negative connotations to that. But why? Irrational thinking, mate, that's the answer. In my opinion anyway. Just because I say it, and just because it's my opinion, doesn't mean it's fact, although I worded it like one by saying that is the answer, rather than saying I think that's the answer. I keep on checking myself a lot, but I think it's necessary. It genuinely might be necessary, so that I say what I mean, for 1, and 2, I know what I mean, and for 3, I don't overstep my mark. I don't go out my way to insult people in ways that I wouldn't want to be insulted and things like that. That's not the main reason as to why I do it, but I like knowing what I'm saying and knowing the meanings of the words that come out my mouth, that I allow to come out my mouth. Checking myself like this shows that at least shows I'm showing to myself that I'm taking things seriously. I don't know. This isn't something that I've deeply thought through. However, I bring this up because there's a YouTube account who commented on, I will see my abs from one year from now, watch. And then it said me at the end. I put me at the end. That video title. On that video, you say that please don't be so hard on yourself, but not too easy on yourself either. That's where it came from. Yeah. But anyway, going back to how I could improve my financial health. I could go out my way to keep on constantly searching for how to improve my financial health. Through reading articles to begin with, through watching videos. I don't want to watch it on YouTube. I'd rather go on websites to watch, because I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm in proximity of being susceptible to that addictive YouTube algorithm, even though I'm creating videos. In my mind, metaphorically speaking, this platform could turn into junk food very quickly. I believe that this platform is healthy. It's healthy food when uploading, but it turns into junk food quick. As soon as we've finished uploading, and as soon as we're done with that, and then we could just be there, susceptible to scrolling due to YouTube's purposefully addictive algorithms, so that people stay on there for longer, both consumers and creators who also might consume YouTube videos. Yeah. Hold on a sec, let me just increase the brightness, see if that helps. Yeah, it does. Oh. Okay. So now let's keep on talking. So watch videos and watch articles. That's where I could start off with. And then branching off that, I put these together because that's what I do to begin with. And then branching off that, yeah. Hence I'm putting my middle finger so far away to symbolize that. Branching off that, I will then go out my way to try exercises perhaps that I've seen online after reading up about it, which I genuinely think might help with improving my financial health. I'm not going to just do it. I'm not going to just be a monkey see, monkey do, and make myself a guinea pig for these financial health ideas, because I'm actually trying. I'm actually wanting to go out of my way to improve my financial health. This is not a social experiment. This is real life. Look, man, I'm not Ryan Trahan or whatever his name is. I'm not that American guy with blonde hair doing, oh, can I live off 1 pence? Look, man, nah, this is real life. Man. This is not a documentary. I need to improve my financial health if I want to be able to live how I truthfully want to live. I don't have time for social experiments. For, oh, well, I'll try and live off 1 penny for a day. I don't want any time set aside for that either. I don't have the days for that, to take the piss, to try and spend one penny a day, to live off 1 penny a day. I don't have time to take the piss. He might have the financial health to be able to try and practice that and have a financially healthy state, or be in a financially healthy state, which he can fall back on after he's done that fucking documentary pretend shit. Nah, man, I don't have time for that. I do not have time for that, so I've got to do what I've got to do. I'm not saying I'm going to get money by any means, by illegal means. Absolutely not. However, I'm going to go about it in a healthy way. I'm going to go about it by doing my research, man. By doing my research, by going on articles, by watching videos, ideally not on YouTube, so I'm not anywhere near in proximity of that addictive algorithm, which this video could be a part of. Unfortunately, rather unfortunately. Now, again, I could bring up the personal responsibility argument and say, well, you're the one watching it. No one's forcing you to watch it. I'm not wrong. I'm right. I am telling the truth. It's true. Or at least as far as I'm aware anyway. Again, this is opinion, not fact. Someone could be holding a gun to your head saying, watch this video. I don't know. However, I can bring up that personal responsibility argument. I have brought up that personal responsibility argument now that I've checked myself and I've kept myself accountable through saying, well, this video is a part of that addictive YouTube algorithm, which I'm saying I don't want to be a part of or susceptible to. However, and I'm not denying that, although I might have gone down that route of denying that by saying, however, it is true. It's true. I do believe it's a part of this. That this video is a part of that algorithm. And I'm not going to go out my way to deny that. However, what we can do is, and that does include me, is consciously pick the videos that we want to watch, rather than just allowing ourselves to watch anything that the feed tries to shove down our throat, metaphorically speaking. Yeah. We can go out of our way to pick the videos that we watch. And from personal experience, I'd like to say that it's more easy to do this after going out of my way to spend 1 hour off screens as soon as I wake up, and sometimes spending half an hour to just allow myself to relax without going on screens when I sense that I'm feeling mentally exhausted and or physically exhausted, but particularly mentally exhausted at around getting on to the early evening. I experience that mental exhaustion, so I just allow myself to rest without any screens. And in combination with using that idea and being off all screens for an hour after waking up, it's, in my opinion, has never been easier to consciously pick the videos that I want to watch and to consciously decide whether I want to actually watch videos on YouTube, which I don't. And I think that's because through doing that, I have made myself go through what people call dopamine detox. Not in a sense that we're completely getting rid of it, but in a sense that we are, or at least as far as I'm aware, in a sense that we are regulating our dopamine levels in our brain, as dopamine is released in the brain. As far as I'm aware, I do think that's how it works. Yeah. So with that in mind, I'm going to, in order to make this relevant back to improving my financial health, I've decided that I'm not really interested in learning from YouTube. I'm more interested in learning about financial health through articles and websites, through not documents, but journals, written journals, and also videos. Yeah. And I'll do that on a regular basis. Just like how I was searching for mental health videos on a regular basis, which I still might need And I still want, because I'm interested in permanently, for as long as I live, maintaining the state of my mind and maintaining the state of my mental health. That doesn't just, that need to maintain my mental health will never end. It will never end. For as long as I live, it will never end. So I still am interested in learning more about mental health. However, I can put it on more of a back burner, as I would have, in my opinion, needed to in the past, after coming back from that mental health low, and when that mental health low was a lot more fresh than it is now. I don't really need to work through that anymore, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm not effing paranoid. I'm not paranoid by thinking that a group of harmless teenagers are out there to get me. I'm not paro. I'm not paranoid. I'm not paranoid. I'm not paranoid. Or at least if I am still living in a paranoid way, it's nowhere near as much. I'm not doing that anywhere near as much as I once was. Although I certainly still could be doing that. Yeah. So with that in mind, I'm gonna just, as I've been saying over and over and over again, consistently, on a daily basis, on an everyday basis, ideally, search for information about financial health. Just like how I go out my way to, on a daily basis, as a habit, not really as a task to do in my day, but as a habit, a daily practice, to watch videos from Dr. K. Shout out to him. You can find his the channel that he makes videos on through typing in Healthy Gamer GG. That's the name of the title. I was going to say the alias, but it's the name of the title. Although he could have that as an alias, to be fair. Yeah, I want to do that to improve my financial health, and I'm going to start off with just going out my way to search about the personal finance management and try out exercises, just like how I tried out exercises that Therapy in a Nutshell gave. Specifically pieces of advice that I think actually could work and that I think actually could help me out, because I don't have the time. I do not have the days, or I should say rather, I absolutely have no interest in trying to do, oh well, I'm living off 1 pence a day sort of social experiments. Bullshit, potentially just for views, for people to just watch, and for ad revenue as well, for those digits to come in, that paycheck to come in. Yeah, I'll start there, and then eventually I'll be on my way to further understanding that I don't think income is related to time. I don't think it's time bound, as certain companies might make it seem, through offering salaries in an amount of money per hour. I really don't think that income or pay, digits sent to the bank balance, really is through paychecks, really, or cash in hand for some people, is time bound. No, I think it's value bound. If I'm producing value to people on a local scale, I absolutely will have an income for sure, on the premise that I'm not doing it voluntarily. However, now, if I'm doing that, providing that same amount of value, but not on a local basis only, but on a worldwide basis, the pay will be much larger, because I'm providing more value to more people, potentially hundreds of millions of more people who are living on this planet just like how I am, from different countries, potentially, who might not even be able to speak the English language as coherently as people who natively speak it can. Some people whose native language is English can't even speak it coherently, with all that slang that they allow to come out of their mouth. Like, I certainly have in this video by saying para, as in paranoid, but that is very rare. So I'm keeping myself accountable here by saying that I'm doing the same thing. But no, it's not often, and I don't say that I don't use slang unironically often, just like how that one time that I did. Yeah. I want to speak about paranoia, however, I'll do that in the mental health review. So I'm going to end this here, and then the mental health slide will play, and I'll speak about my new understanding of the word paranoia, and I'll go from there. And maybe speak more about money too, seeing as my financial health, in my opinion, is a part of my mental health too. Is deeply related, in my opinion, because it's more challenging to eat in a healthy way because of my financial health, my poor financial health. My financial health being this way is not the problem, but my financial health staying this way is the issue. That's where the issue lies. And if I'm not careful, that's the reality I could be creating for myself on the premise that I don't make a start today. So I'll declare today, on the 11th of November, I don't know what the time is, but I'll find it. Today, on the 11th of November, I'm going to go out of my way to actively search for knowledge related to improving my financial health, just like how I went out my way to actively search for knowledge related to my mental health. And less than 2 years later, because of all of my efforts that I would have put into improving the state of my financial health, financially, I'll be in a much healthier state than I ever have been in my life, ever. I'll get the time now for that. Oh, I found out. I'm now declaring this at exactly 4:30 on Friday, the 11th of November, 2022. On that note, let's get it. Let's get to. I say let's as if it's a us thing. No, it's a me thing. And I'm going out my way to actively search for knowledge that other people have provided. So it is a journey which I'm going on alone. However, it's a journey which many other people have given the knowledge and the part and the keys to being able to help other people too, which I'm going to take. And with these keys that other people have provided, I'll not only unlock doors, but I'll create my own keys that fit the lock much more efficiently for my situation. At 4:30 p.m, this is my declaration. On that note, let's move on to the mental health section of this review. I've been just looking at the channel videos for a while now, just scrolling. I've been avoiding doing this because it's, in my mind, I think I've seen it as overwhelming because I've seen a whole list of notes that I made to help me actually get this section out. But I found that I've held myself back by doing that, alongside doing other things off camera too. However, what I've said to myself to remember to get back on the task at hand here, not the grind as I was thinking of saying, but just the task at hand, is to remember that 1 is the magic number, not 3, not 5, not 10, not 2, only 1, one thing at a time. So I'm going to follow that advice, because that actually is going to work. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was my new understanding that I've created on the word paranoia. Paranoia, by definition, means an unjustified suspicion or mistrust in something or someone, some things or some people as well. Now, I was saying that I built paranoia from going out my way constantly on an everyday basis to try and not get caught doing certain things, such as recording food videos, recording myself cooking, recording myself making these videos and videos that I'd make on this channel. I thought that I'd be creating a paranoia based off other things as well, which I'm not willing to talk about. However, by definition, paranoia, a fundamental part of paranoia, is suspicion and mistrust based off unjustified reasoning, or based off something that's unjustified. And I don't think that my suspicion and my mistrust, especially about the things I'm not willing to talk about, were unjustified, because I have in my mind more than solid proof, particularly one example of what happened, which again I'm not going to get into, that corroborates my claim that I have in my mind, or supports the idea that I have in my mind, or had in my mind rather, I should say, seeing as I've now been working through it, especially based off a dream that I had about said situation that I'm not willing to talk about. I might do it later on, but not right now, for whatever reason, if I want to release it, because that would be a whole new set of original thoughts which I don't think I've seen on the internet, at least not like how I saw it in my dreams, not the way I worded it in my dreams, which I worked through. Now I have, after reading the psychology book that I got, the A-level psychology book that I got, my knee. Hold up a sec. After getting this one, after buying this, I've been learning about it, and yes, I forgot what I was saying, but I remember now. And I used what I learned to my advantage to give a different meaning to my dreams. In this book, it says that dreams are built off what we're thinking of in the unconscious mind, what we're repressing, what we're holding back, or what we're trying to deny to ourselves, but what's truthfully on our mind. It talks about another thing called Freudian slips as well, such as saying what's on our unconscious mind on accident, i.e. the specific example that they gave in the book is saying your girlfriend's name or your boyfriend's name, ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend's name on accident when you're talking to your current girlfriend or your current boyfriend. I don't believe in that sort of stuff, because I don't believe that those people are things to have. I'm not interested in having a girlfriend, although I would like to date, because of how I think of having a girlfriend in my mind. I personally am very against the idea, at least at this point in time, because I don't want to see a lady as a possession of mine by saying that I have her as my girlfriend. I don't own anyone. I'd have no problems with saying that I'm dating a lady, but to say that she's my girlfriend, no, I'm not. I don't like that. And some girls or women might shame when a man doesn't claim her. I personally, again, under the same reasoning that I've given now, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that a lady is mine to have or mine to own, in a sense, by saying she's mine and that I'm hers. No, I'm not. I'm not some possession that you could just take and have. No, thank you. Oh, my shoulder. Nah, you're alright with that. I think I've heard from a black American lady on a YouTube video saying, if he likes you, he'll go out of his way to claim you. Maybe there's an understanding that maybe women think that they should feel insecure if a man doesn't quote unquote claim her by saying that she's his, with that anecdotal experience of watching that video, which can't be proven valid because I don't remember what the title of the video is called, or who made it, or the name of the channel where I got it from, or even if my memory is telling the truth. Not my perception of the truth, but the actual truth I don't remember. So my opinion's not backed by valid evidence here. However, even though that's the case, what I'm saying could be true to some extent. Could be. I'm not sure though. I've got a lot more living to do in order to have a more valid and accurate opinion on the matter. A lot more living to do. A lot more talking to women to do. A lot more, and a lot more doing things with guys and women to do. Both genders at once, and also separately as well. Be it going out on a maybe a day out with the guys, a day out with some women, and then both. I've got a lot more living to do to be able to have accurate opinions backed up by fact. I would still have my honesty, so it's not really, so having honest opinions isn't something that I need to really think about, because I go out of my way to live in an honest way and to speak honestly and truthfully about things, at least for the most part. However, I do have a lot of living to do. On that note, when I said that, there are some things that are going on in my mind, which I am going to admit here. However, it's not something that I'm willing to talk about, at least not right now, again, because the internet doesn't need to know everything. So I am going to move on to something else now, because the mind has just completely gone off. Mine's gone blank. All of my topics that I wanted to talk about, they're written down whilst I've been going through the editing process of creating this video, so I'm just going to refer back to that. I want to read it, and then I'm going to carry on making these clips for this section of the video. Let's do it. I wanted to speak about why, in my opinion, the anxiety scores are higher than usual. That was what I put word for word in the note making that I made for the rest of the talking that I wanted to do in this section of the video, the mental health review? Well, the answer is very simple. I had, I did the self-assessment quiz over the span of 3 weeks, around about, give or take, or maybe even closer to a month, more than I realized. And within this month or so, I have had more than one anxiety attack. I had an intense feeling of fear that I felt immediate about death, which I found out that very basically, I believe I felt that fear because I was thinking about all that I had to lose in death, and rather than all that I could have to gain, i.e., new perspectives on death and actually knowing what it's like, rather than um, believing in religion who say that they know what it's like with heaven and hell references, but having no clue of what they're talking about because they haven't experienced they haven't experienced death themselves. So how could they say that with such confidence that that's what's actually going to happen? But yeah, within getting back to the review itself, I did actually speak about my take on religion at this point in time, and I've decided, at least for a very long time, I'm not going to have religious beliefs because I think, at least from my personal experience, religion has a lot of, it's built off repression, in my opinion, and fear mongering, i.e., if you don't do this, you're going hell, or if you do this, you're going hell. I don't want to be anywhere near in proximity of the idea that if I don't follow, for example, the 5 pillars of Islam, which in my opinion is rather extreme and unfair to ask of for individuals to follow all 5 pillars, that I could go to hell, or that I could go to hell specifically because I'm not following every single law within Islam, i.e., abstaining from music because it's haram. No, no, thanks. No, I'm alright. I'm alright. I don't want to. It's so unhealthy. It's so unhealthy. It's so unhealthy. I think Islam in particular, especially with one of the 5 pillars called alms, in which ALMS, in which Muslims are supposed to donate at least a part of their property on a yearly basis. I think it's just asking for too much. I.e., being charitable. What if some people could be doing that out of fear, specifically because they'd want to go to heaven because they really don't want to go to hell because they wouldn't want to know what that's like. It's not healthy, in my opinion, to believe that there could even be a chance of a everlasting, never-ending lifetime's worth of eternal agony and pain with what we might consider the worst and the worst of society. The murderers, the killers, the paedophiles, the groomers, etc. That's not healthy. It's not. I don't. That's just one. That's one of the many reasons as to why I'm not interested in having religious beliefs, at least for a very long time, particularly Islam, as I've implied by speaking about Islam right now. It, I think, at least one of the main reasons as to why I'd be thinking about Islam in particular is because I come from a Muslim household, and I have absolutely no interest in following anything blindly, let alone a religion in which, from what I've read and from what I believe, makes it seem like believing in a God comes first over your health, i.e., physical health, mental health. That's not a pillar in Islam. Taking care of your health is not a pillar in Islam. You have the Shahada, which is the declaration that you believe that there's one God and only one God. Hajj, which is pilgrimage, going to Mecca, I think. Basically trying to find yourself from walking extremely far distances. Also, on a side note, I'm not don't agree with Ramadan in the sense that why is it that we should be making ourselves starve for 1 month? It's not like they wouldn't be eating anything at all. To be fair, however, specifically just because we be remembering a story, that's it. Not even for health reasons. Not even for health reasons. It's just to remember a story, a legend. That's why we'd be making ourselves starve for hours on end. Nah, I'm alright, man. If other people want to do that in pursuit of self-control or in pursuit of finding themselves somehow, so be it. But what I'm saying is that personally isn't for me. However, in saying that, I absolutely am not against fasting, but just not for that long. I'm not against. I'm not. I don't. I wouldn't mind fasting for a 1 day in pursuit of improving the state of my health through cleansing my body, through having a water fast, for example. However, to not eat and to not drink either for long hours is something that I've experienced in the past, and it's not something I want to do. I've experienced that for long in the past, and I don't deem it healthy. Just specifically just to remember a story, not even to improve our health or anything like that. Nah, I'm alright, man. And people absolutely can disagree with me here, and people might be believing in Islam in particular for their reasons. But for me personally, I just don't think it's for me. I haven't gotten anywhere far from personal experience, specifically by praying to a God. I just haven't. And if I am in the future to reside with Islam, it will be on my own call, not because my parents have told me to, which would be one of the reasons why I have decided to not follow it. That's actually why I decided to say that I don't have religious beliefs anymore, because I didn't want my parents deciding how I think for me. That's my choice to make. My religious beliefs are my choice, not theirs, as they might try and make it seem. No, I'm not interested in that stuff. And another reason as to why I'm not interested in believing in Islam is because I, as I said, I'm not interested in all of the fear mongering that could come with it, other than what I've mentioned, such as God will punish you and potentially being cursed. I just, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I know my skin. I found myself. I don't need to go out of my way to try and find myself through religion either. That said, I absolutely am not unwilling to agree with certain things here and there, such as why Islam is against listening to music, because it's unhealthy. Very basically, that's because it's unhealthy to overindulge in excessive entertainment or something along those lines. That's what I read when I was looking at it on Google as to why music is forbidden and prescribed, basically forbidden by Islamic law. That's what haram means. Forbidden, banned, and prescribed by Islamic law. Prescribed again, as I said, it basically just means banned. Of course, excessive overindulging in entertainment is unhealthy, of course, and I absolutely am not against that. However, I am against going about it in extreme ways, and I think, in my opinion, especially with today's society, how we live in today's day and age, that is extreme. Not listening to music at all, not even like when you be training in the gym. Oh, so it's forbidden then? It's banned then? What? How are we meant to live? How are we meant to live if we are always trying to avoid things that are seen as forbidden? I just personally think that point in particular, trying to follow that rule of Islam, not listen, as in not listening to music because it's haram, is just too extreme, especially in today's day and age, where you go again to the gym, for example, and where they're trying to play it, they're trying to play music so the place doesn't seem empty in pursuit of profit. Completely abstaining from music in today's day and age, I just don't think is fair to expect of ourselves, as Islam might try and make it seem like we have to do in pursuit of just trying to not go hell or go to hell. Sorry. No, thank you. I'm all right. I'm okay. And I'd advise to anyone that believes that they have religious beliefs like how I once did, to make sure that they do, and to make sure that they aren't following them blindly. One sign that you might be following religion blindly is a lack of reasoning as to why you're actually following it. For example, you can't come up with reasoning right on the spot as to why you follow a certain religion or more religions at once. If you can't come up with at least one reason as to why you do immediately, perhaps you are following it. Perhaps you are following any religion, for that matter, blindly. Just like how I was once upon a time. Again, as I said, I'm not unwilling to learn about specific ideas from religious books or books about atheism. I don't think of it as a lack of religion, because in my mind I was thinking a lack of religion. Nah, I don't lack. I'm not lacking. If anything, I'm doing the complete opposite in terms of religious beliefs, because I have specific reasons as to why I'm not going to be residing with any form of religious beliefs, any form of set of religious beliefs, at least for a very long time, maybe a decade plus. Although I might have religious beliefs here and there through agreeing with what certain religious books might say here and there. For example, as I mentioned before, me agreeing with the fact that excessive indulging in entertainment, like being on YouTube or being on the TV, is unhealthy. That I'm not against. I absolutely am not against it. However, I absolutely am against how Islam might try and go about trying to make people not overindulge. I think it's too extreme. I think trying to make ourselves not listen to music at all is just too extreme. So I'm not doing it. I'm not following that, especially for mental health reasons that I brought up earlier. I'm not making myself go in close proximity with the idea that I could have a lifetime's worth of eternal agony and pain in store for me, specifically because, like in Abba Atlas, from Abba and Preacher's words, have not prayed 5 times a day, specifically of that. Nah, no man, I'm alright. I started to question my what I thought were really Muslim beliefs, or beliefs in Islam rather, after watching that video in which he said that. I don't remember what it was called, but I started to question my what I thought were the beliefs that I had for Islam. And yeah, I'm certainly not interested. I might agree with an idea here and there, but I don't want to. This is another reason why I don't want to reside with religious beliefs, at least for a long time. I don't want to reside with any one particular set of religious beliefs, because I might be putting myself in a position where I've actually decided to have an excessive close-mindedness to certain ways of thinking, which actually could be accurate, which actually could be useful specifically because I've now resided with one set of religious beliefs, and branching off that, I could then start looking at people in a prejudiced way, specifically because that they've decided to have a certain set of religious beliefs rather than actually not wanting to be around someone because of their actual character, rather than just their religious beliefs alone. No, thank you. I'm not interested in that. That would just create an unhealthy divide towards people, which I remember actually someone saying in high school, someone that, if I remember correctly, had had atheist beliefs. One of the reasons why that they did, which they spoke about in the cafeteria, I remember, was because they thought that it creates a divide. It being different sets of religions create a divide in communities, and I'd say that certainly could be pretty accurate. Like a divide between Christians and Muslims, for example, or listen to that wording, that's a part of it. Christians and Muslims, not people with Christian beliefs and people with Muslim beliefs, but no, Christians and Muslims. I can't quite put my finger on why I disagree with that wording, but there's something within it. It's like you are that set of religious beliefs. Maybe that's it. No, I'm not. I'm just me. I'm just a human being, and I'm not inherently wrong because I do or don't believe in a set of religious beliefs, and certain people might make it seem. And that includes people with atheist beliefs as well. No, I'm not. I'm not wrong. I'm not inherently wrong. Just off that alone. No, I'm not. I've got many more reasons other than that, but I decided from yesterday, I think, on the 10th of November, that I don't want to have religious beliefs. I'm not saying that I'd go out my way to be ignorant and to not be willing to learn from religious books at all. I certainly will be, but I don't want to reside with any one of them, any one set of religious beliefs in particular, for the reasons that I've mentioned in this video, or in this clip, and also for other reasons that I mentioned in the self-assessment quiz, outside of the ones that I've mentioned now, which I'm not going to get into. I'm not going to make a whole list. I came up with like 7 or 8 reasons as to why I don't want to believe in a set of religious beliefs, at least for now. And I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm not going to list through all of them. You don't need to know everything. And also, I want to get this self-assessment quiz out, so I want to get right back to it. And on that note, I'm going to move on to the next topic that I have in store for the rest of for this mental health review now. If I didn't mention this before I do move on to the next topic, I want to say that I could have had an anxiety attack, or maybe even a panic attack, about the fear of death that I spoke about earlier, specifically from the religious beliefs, and specifically from basically being told that if you don't follow a certain set of beliefs, if you don't follow a certain way of life, that an eternity of pain and agony awaits me. Now that I've released myself from that burden, from that way of thinking, I think I won't at least be having anywhere near as many anxiety attacks, or maybe even panic attacks, based on religion. If I'm having anxiety attacks based off certain things, I certainly should get rid of them. And I think that genuinely could, believing I have Muslim beliefs and not working through them, the Muslim beliefs that I've been conditioned to have, has been very helpful for me. It's been very helpful for me, and not doing so could have meant that I was absolutely destroying my mental health without even realizing it, on the back burner, because of these thoughts potentially running through my mind unconsciously. Yeah, that I could have repressed and put down right into the unconscious mind, like how the psychology book talks about, which we could be seeing in our dreams. Maybe not. Yeah, but that's what the psychology book says. The one that I've shown earlier on in this video. I can't give specific page references. No, not I can't. I could, but I'm not willing to. Only because I just want to move on with the topics, not because I'm being dishonest with my opinions. But yeah, that's there's a whole lot of talking about what we see in our dreams, about the idea that what we see in our dreams is what we are repressing in our minds. And it could be true. I had quite the vivid dream based on something that had happened in my personal life, or my life off camera, really. I don't think of this as like professional to say that my life off camera is personal, but in my private life, yeah. It's so with that in mind, seeing as that was based off a true event, that being that dream, there could be quite a bit of truth to that idea that our dreams are based off what we've got deep down in our minds that we've been needing to work through for a while, or that we might be celebrating in our mind unconsciously through consciously doing it in the past. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to make a quick note of that to say that I'm letting go of that way of thinking, and because of that, I think I'll further improve my mental health. I have no interest in residing with any sort of beliefs that could be actually destroying my mental health just to please some people that I don't even know, to please a set of people who claim to have the same sort of religious beliefs, who might not be in any way actually following the main principles of those religious beliefs, i.e. people who claim that they have Muslim beliefs but are drinking, like how I heard my old deputy head in the sixth form back when I was going to A-levels was said to me, back when I believed that I had Muslim beliefs. Yeah, I'm all right. I don't want to follow that. I don't want to follow a sort of place which shames people having different opinions. There's a derogatory connotations to the term non-believers, and also, again, as I said, the specific set of religions could clash and could create a divide. I'm not anything. I'm not even an atheist. I'm just someone who has atheist beliefs, who is willing to learn and agree and disagree with certain religious beliefs and values. I'm not an atheist. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not a Sikh. I'm not a nothing. I'm not any of that. I'm not a nothing. I'm not any of that. I'm just me. I'm just a human being. I am not my religious beliefs. But now that I've let go of that way of thinking, and I have allowed myself to no longer think that an eternity of agony awaits me if I don't follow maybe even one rule of Islam, I've now been able to move on. Thank goodness. Cheers to improving our mental health, people. Cheers. Again, I'm if people want to believe in Islam and religious beliefs alike, do you? But I personally don't think it's for me, at least for a very long time. And on that note, I'm going to move on to what I wanted to move on to next. Okay, we move on. I'm not going to yet move on to the next topic that I wanted to talk about because there's something else that I wanted to speak on and touch upon. So there are some certain things that I've been saying that I've been holding off and that I've been wanting to do, and with working through it off camera, I've now got ways that I'm now making it a lot easier. And actually, I'd say easy and not just easier, because I'm actually I think I've now actually gone out of my way to understand what I was doing or what I was thinking of. That meant I caused myself to no, that meant I held myself back. And I just wanted to say cheers to further understanding myself and further understanding ourselves, if other people are on this journey too. And cheers to making things easier. Cheers to making life easier as we progress. Cheers. Cheers to further understanding ourselves. It's a part of us, a fundamental part of us, being able to live our life to the fullest. How can we, I believe this, just off the top of my head, this is the reasoning that I've come up with off the top of my head, is that in order to live our life to the fullest, how can we do that without knowing what we want out of life, without knowing where we want to go, or at least have a vague idea of where we want to go and what we want to do with our lives through knowing ourselves? How will we be able to do that without that? How? But yeah, I just wanted to make that quick note before actually moving on to the next topic, which I will now talk about. So I wanted to mention the fact that it took over 3 weeks, which is actually something I've spoken about earlier. However, I'll touch on it again because I said I wanted to make a note of that. I wanted to make a note of that in this video. I wanted to give up on it. I wanted to give up on making the self-assessment quiz because it took, in my opinion, that long. However, I finally done it and I finished it before 2 o'clock this morning. I just decided that I'm going to do it and I'm not going to stop until I get it done. There are a couple of questions here and there that I wanted to answer and that I specifically decided to go past being on the screens past 10 p.m. to do that because I thought it's either now or never. Not with that exact wording, but the wording was closer to me saying, right, it's either, no, I don't remember it, but I just didn't want to do it the morning after. Very basically, I didn't want to do it today. I didn't want to because I thought I might not have ever got it done if I kept on leaving it. So I finished it, even though I would have preferred to have gone to sleep earlier, earlier, but it's done now. It's done. And by earlier, I mean I'm currently working through my ideas of the idea of time, because I'm starting to watch videos about time being no more than a social construct, and yeah, it could just be life. Literally, if we're talking about time, could just be sun up, sun down, sunrise, sunset, and that's it. Not time. However, I'm not against the idea of time in a sense, because it is very helpful, especially for professional work, in order to increase how much structure there is around it, around being time bound. Because if there wasn't the idea of 9 a.m., how would people know when to get to work? How? There's also something I've thought of, something interesting in the past, which I thought of in the past that's come to mind now, and it's that if I remember correctly, back when I was learning about Japanese, when I had quite the passion for foreign languages, I don't think there actually is such a thing as the future tense in the Japanese language, specifically because of the tsunamis, if I remember correctly. And they thought, well, the idea of the future absolutely isn't guaranteed, so they didn't make a I will tense. They didn't make a future tense. And if I'm not mistaken, the present, I'm almost certain that in the Japanese language, the present tense, the future tense in their language is the present tense. And by context, we just have to understand that when they're speaking about what seems to be the present tense, at face value, they're actually talking about the future tense by saying I'm going to, or I will do X, Y, and Z. I personally actually do have more of a interest in learning about languages, foreign languages, as in how to speak them, now than I have done recently in the past, because from today I was just thinking about it, and I'm thinking that I'm stuck if I only know how to learn to, if I only know how to speak English. If I only know English, I think I'm stuck. And I think I'm stuck because I can only word things through through the only ways I know how to in the English language, when there could be different ways in which people who speak different languages would word it, which we wouldn't have the words for in English. For example, in German, there's such a thing as a Wissenwitz, I remember it being called, basically a staircase joke. This is a word to describe having a comeback for an argument after it's happened. We don't have a word for that in the English language like how they do. And with that in mind, that's some evidence that I have to say I don't want to be stuck and bound in only being able to communicate in English. If I go out of my way to do as I said I would do over half a year ago, which was to become a polyglot, be able to speak more than 5 languages, I think that means. In my mind, I'm thinking of 7 for some reason, I don't know. But yeah, if I don't do this, there's a lot to lose. For example, not being able to articulate myself as clearly as I could with the help of being able to fluently communicate, read, listen, speak, and write in more than just only English. The fact that when I was younger, there were a lot of languages being spoken around me for reasons that I'm not going to disclose. Well, basically just people that are around, very basically, just people that were around when I was growing up. So it's not actually all that big a deal, like some illegal stuff's going on, no. But yeah, because of the people that were around, there was a lot of languages being spoken. My parents could speak more than like one language, and I can't yet. Hold on. If I really wanted to learn how to fluently communicate, read, listen, speak, and write in more than just English, I certainly could, and I certainly have it in me. However, I'd have to go out of my way to buckle down and do that. I'd want to do that. Honestly, I'd really want to do that because I know what it's like to not be able to clearly articulate myself, and that's something that I might experience on the odd occasion here and there. It's becoming more of a rarity, seeing as I'm going out my way. I've got dictionaries here with me. That's becoming more of a rarity, day by day, bit by bit, piece by piece, which I feel more than happy with, because I want to be able to clearly communicate. Otherwise, other people won't be able to understand me, and more importantly, I won't be able to understand me, and I'd wonder why I what I say is understood in a different way to how I thought of it, like how I experienced both firsthand from blurry memories and also secondhand from a live stream in particular, where someone said something to JD from Growth Through Calisthenics that, oh, I'm not here to see you talk, I'm here to watch you work out, and that was being taken as rude, even though that person claimed that he or she didn't mean it in that way. But I think JD could not have handled that in a more appropriate way. I agree with his viewpoint. He's not some, I don't know what, I don't remember what the wording was there, but what he used, but he's not some circus clown that just acts on command to what everyone else says. He does what he wants to do when he wants to do it, and if they don't like that, they can leave, or in his words, they can dip. I don't think he could have handled that any more appropriately, because it at least came off as rather disrespectful. Who are you to tell him what to do? Especially order him what as to what he should be doing because of your needs. Oh, I'm here to see you work out, even though that person might not have meant it in a commanding in a controlling way. That's how it came off. And I can understand why I disagree with that way of wording as well. Right, it's on charge. Cool. Yeah. On that note, I'm going to move on to the next topic now, because I said that I explained why it took so long. Actually, no, I didn't. Not from memory. I don't have a specific reason why. I just said that it took so long. Perhaps because I didn't do it on the Friday. I didn't have it up for the Friday, which I wanted to have it up for, and then I just, from there, just kept on postponing it in combination with postponing other things. So I don't know the exact reason as to why, but I think that could be it. The fact that I was postponing, like, the foot appointment, for example, and I was postponing finishing off the level 2 gym instructor course. I think that was it. And on that note, I will move on to speaking about the gym instructor course and finishing off the things here and there that I need to finish off in order to get my qualifications. So what I'd say is, I haven't finished off the poster. I haven't finished off the the coursework. And I think by me, I put an excessive amount of value in getting it done through saying that, and through focusing, through putting that first, without me even realizing it, potentially before eating, before sleeping, before drinking, before sleeping a healthy amount. I think I said that, I don't know, before warmth, saying that my passions are my first priority. No, they're not. No, they're not. My survival needs are. And I think, I don't think I was trying too little, because it wasn't that I didn't care. It wasn't that I didn't care about getting this last piece of coursework that I need to do done, but I think it's more so because of the very opposite, trying too hard. It's an idea that's explored in Deep Work by Cal Newport in one of the chapters, at the end of one of the chapters, I think, about working deeply. It's rule 1 in working deeply. I'll show that. Actually, no, I'll play a certain clip of me showing what I'm talking about, and then I'll flip it back onto myself. Here you go. That's the rule I'm talking about. Within that chapter, nearing the end, going on to approaching rule 2, there's this idea that if we go out of our way to try too hard, we might actually, the more we try too hard, or the more we think about something too much, the less we'll actually achieve. And I'd say I experienced this idea firsthand without me even realizing why I wasn't doing as much as I wanted to, or without completely understanding it. I knew it was within my words somewhere, somehow, but it wasn't something that I paid attention to in this exact way that I've worded it. The answer as to why I wasn't doing that stuff was within my words, which expressed my true mindset towards getting the thing done, the coursework done. That's what I meant by the thing, which is, oh, well, I'm not doing it. That's what I'd be implying to myself through consistently saying I haven't done as much of the course work as I would have liked. Or I'd say I haven't done as much of the course as I'd like. But what I really meant at the time was the coursework. I haven't done as much of the coursework as I would have liked. I don't think that unveils anonymity, because I'd imagine that there are so many different personal training courses that have coursework to them, so I think that's fine. But yeah, I would keep on holding myself back by my words. Words are powerful. I got to remember that. The answer was it within my words. By saying, I haven't done as much of it as I would have liked. I haven't done as much of it as I would have liked. Or I haven't done as much of it as I would have liked. It's within that. And I don't have to, in pursuit of achieving that aim, try and lie to myself and say, well, I've done so much, I've done so much, I've done so much. I've certainly done some stuff, for sure. But it's something that I could just say, I see after my basic survival needs, I see me getting this coursework done as one of my top priorities after eating in a healthy way, drinking a healthy amount of water, and eventually drinking filtered water rather than tap water, which could have so many additives that are destroying my body from the inside out. Warmth, clothing, particularly high quality shoes with a narrow toe box, and just high quality clothing in general, but I specify the type of shoes that I want to have because I'm interested in improving the health of my feet. I don't want to be wearing shoes that cramp my feet up anymore, just like how these socks do, to be fair, because I don't want to be feeling pain every day whenever I walk or whenever I stand up for maybe less than an hour when I'm cooking, for example. It's not even just a lingering pain, it's intense sharp stings now, and it has been for the past couple of days. I need to get myself sorted out. And as for going back to the coursework, I'm saying, seeing as my gums, I've noticed, have been bleeding easily for months on end, I need to get this coursework done, or otherwise I'm putting my dental health at risk. Every single day I don't work towards getting that coursework done is another day that I'm putting my dental health at risk. I certainly could be fear-mongering here to help me in pursuit of actually getting it done, but it is a genuine concern of mine. My dental health, I'm announcing it here very clearly and explicitly, is a concern of mine. I want an appointment. I want an appointment, but I'm over 18 now, so I need to pay for one. It's not free. So I need to do what I need to do in order to improve, in terms of improving my financial health, at least for the sake of improving my dental health and keeping it up to scratch. Because I'm not willing to lose teeth and gums specifically because I wasn't doing I hadn't finished off the course, the level 2 gym instructor course, and because I held myself back from my aspirations because of my words. Words are so powerful. Words are so powerful. But now I need to use that to my advantage. Carry on using that to my advantage by remembering things like 1 is the magic number, not 3. If I want to get things done, one thing at a time, man. Not 2, 3, 4, 10, 16, 25. No. One thing at a time. That's how this world works. One metabolic reaction at a time in order for us to survive, or maybe more than one, in terms of how the body works, seeing as our bodies are so complex, so that's probably not the most appropriate of examples to use here. One word at a time when we're reading, whether that be through books that I have here, or whether that be through articles that you read online. I point there because that's where my laptop is at the moment. One word at a time we'd hear when we're communicating to each other. One word we'd say at a time. We can't say 2 words at once. We can't. We literally can't. So no matter how fast we speak, it can sound like we're saying more than one word at once, but we can't say more than one word at once. That's just not how languages work. It's one thing at a time. 1 is the magic number, not 3. Or maybe the number we need to know about, or the number that we need to care about. 1, not 3. because following that will mean that we actually do get to live how we truthfully want to live. But at least I understand that now, and although it might take a while, one day at a time, for that reality to show, perhaps to many people online, maybe, and also in my personal life, to many people in my personal life, it's one day at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 second, then 1 minute, then 1 hour, then 1 day, and so on, one at a time. And again, making this relevant to what I was saying earlier, this is something that, in my opinion, I must remember on the premise that I want to do what I truthfully want to do with my life. Something I have to remember. On that note, I am going to conclude what I think about with that getting coursework done there. The reason why I wasn't doing it was within my words. Instead of saying I haven't done it ever, I haven't done as much as I'd like ever, instead say, and going down that loop, which doesn't work, instead say, instead put it first, whatever that is, after getting fulfilling survival needs for water, food, shelter, clothing, water, food, shelter, clothing, warmth, etc. Yeah, that comes over everything else. Health as well, both physical and mental health, they come over that as well. It's not the end of the world if I haven't done as much as I would have liked on a coursework in 1 day. Furthermore, if I don't think I have, it might be within my best interest to check myself and say, well, have I set an unrealistic amount? But then again, yeah, just remember, just one thing at a time, man. One thing at a time. Anyway, I want to move on to the next topic that I wanted to speak about. Cheers to progressing in ways that we truthfully want. 1 day at a time. Right, thank goodness I'm almost done with this section, because I started this at around 3 o'clock or so, and it's now getting on to 9:15. I'm actually going to find out. Hold on. I started making this video at 3:10 in the afternoon, and it's now 9:13 in the evening. Or you could actually say night. 9:13 in the night, and it's been 6 hours and 15. This isn't the only thing I've been doing, but it's basically been, no, not 6 hours 15 minutes, just over 6 hours, around 6 hours and 5 minutes since I first picked up the camera to film this weekly health review, main weekly health review. Yeah, I have made quite a few videos in between though, such as today's daily log. In terms of exercise, I made a part 1 for today's daily food log, because I might eat later on. I might do, I might not. And I've also done things outside of that too within the 6 hours, so it's not like I've only done this and I still haven't finished. No, I still got I have done things in between, but I still do have to go, so I'm gonna keep it moving and attempt to get this out before the day ends, before 12 a.m. hits. But if it doesn't, I don't care. If it's not out before 12 a.m, I don't care. I'm not gonna make myself fearfully time bound like how I might have done in the past, dating all the way back from school, back when we would have timelines to do deadlines to do assignments. Oh, can I get this extension on this task? Oh no, I'm not doing that anymore. That's just a very fearful place, which could lead to dark thoughts. Maybe not. Hey, who knows? But it's just not very healthy from my personal experience from school, for example. From fear potentially being heard no when I'd ask for extension on assignments. Nah, I'm alright. I'm not doing that. Not again. I'm not voluntarily putting myself through that. So no, I don't care if it comes out after 12 a.m. But I will try and get this out before Saturday. Anyway, I'm now going to start talking about the topics that I wanted to talk about before making that note, and that's what I actually wrote about and what I've been able to work through within these 3 weeks or so. Well, when I started making the self-assessment quiz, all the way up to the time that I finished it, all the way up to the early hours, until early in this morning when I finished it. The first place that I'd want to start in terms of tackling this is limerence. Right, I went out my way to learn about limerence, which I'm understanding is an infatuation or an obsession with someone, either romantically or more so lustfully, from my personal experience, or in a platonic way apparently. I'm saying this in correlation to what a man called Marius said. I may have actually used that term wrong. Very basically, I heard about this term from a video that I saw on a YouTube feed from a YouTube channel called Private Therapy Clinic, in which a guy named Marius, Marios, spoke about limerence, which is what I've described. And I was experiencing this, in my opinion, before seeing that video, or videos about it from this guy on Private Therapy Clinic, especially the first one that I saw, which has the light blue thumbnail background and white writing that's been highlighted in black, but the rest of the background's light blue, with his background in it, with his face as a part of the background in it as well. White guy, black hair with a fringe, brown eyes as well. I think it's difficult to miss. And after learning more about it from those videos, especially that first one that I described with that thumbnail, which has the title Limerence Explained, how to stop obsessing over someone or something like that, how to stop obsessively thinking about someone or something like that. I worked through it because I believe that I was experiencing it about one of the ladies that I had a conversation with in the gym. And I'd say I genuinely do believe that I've come out of it on the other side, because I don't think about her name. Sorry, let me try that again. Because her name doesn't come to mind at all, really. Certainly not without prompt. However, in the past, it would be more automatic to think about her name and her, or my idea of her, really, seeing as I don't know her very well, because I've just been going to this different gym that I've been going to only recently, around about a month ago. In my mind, I was saying time has flown by. Nah, not really. The same 24 hours is going the same speed. It's not that. If anything, time is going slower, because I'm actually going out of my way to learn, and I'm actually improving my sleep routine as well, meaning that I'd be spending more hours awake and out of bed rather than more hours awake and in bed, which would make it seem like times might be going fast or something like that. There's actually a German word for fear related to time running out. The fear related to time running out as we get older or as we age. Aging, I don't put quote marks to try and imply that aging doesn't exist. It absolutely does. I was just saying that I was putting it in quote marks in reference to time potentially just being just an illusion or a social construct, which isn't inherently a bad thing. It provides structure into life, into society. The idea of it provides structure to society, so it's not inherently a bad thing, really. But yeah, going back to what I was saying with the limerence stuff, I worked through it. I have now come out of it on the other side with the help of that information from those YouTube videos. There was two of them that from that guy, from Marius, from Private Therapy Clinic. I think there was at least that one with that light blue background, and then another one potentially on a separate channel that he makes videos for. Maybe more so as a personal channel. Yeah. And yeah, the main point of why I was saying all of this, because I wanted to say that this is just something that I've been working on. But how have I been working on it? Well, I've been using the self-assessment quiz to help me over the maybe the past couple of weeks or so. Not the past few weeks, but the past couple of weeks after I stared at this lady's bum, and after I looked at her bum multiple times out of lust from, it is my actions for sure, but I say it's also from not just me only doing it, but also from what I'd be consuming. That meant I'd be in that mind space anyway, such as lustful lyrics from the radio. And even if I am to, how I'd say, protect my mind from these sorts of things, from using headphones by listening to personal training related stuff or gym instructor information related stuff, I still would be able to hear the radio. I still would be able to hear those lust-inducing song lyrics like Nicki Minaj Freak and Chris Brown under the influence of all of the sexual references that are in it, not only in the lyrics but also on video, on the visual side of things, which of course the radio isn't showing, but it's a part of the video itself. And what else? The tight clothing, which is eye-catching, that ladies might wear, the tight yoga bottoms that ladies might wear, or just tight gym wear, really, especially with what's called contour, which is there to literally highlight the bum region. It's literally there to highlight it. But then if people were to look, oh, it's an issue. That's like someone at 1 a.m. holding a flashlight and then complaining that you're looking at the flashlight even though it's pitch black. If you are wearing excessively tight clothing that just about fits you, and that you could basically see your bum cheeks, like the crevice of the cheeks from the clothes that you're wearing, don't be surprised that people, and that includes both genders, look at your bum. It doesn't matter. It in the sense, look, man, what I'm trying to say is, people are going to look at what's eye-catching. Doesn't matter where it is. Just like how we look at a guy's chest and arms with who's wearing eye-catching clothing, who has a lot of muscle. We, both men and women, are bound to look at a lady's bum if the clothing that they're wearing is so tight. And I don't actually think that there's an issue with that, on the premise that we, both men and women, aren't staring, and that we, both men and women, aren't purposefully going out of our way to look in a sexual way. I think the point where I personally would draw the line is if a lady's wearing eye-catching clothing and I glance at her bum without trying to, and then I just carry on about my day purposefully, knowing that I'm not trying to look at her bum in a sexual way. It's just so happened that she's wearing eye-catching clothing, and it just so happened that, for example, it might be extremely colorful as well, which makes it even more eye-catching outside of the tightness of the clothing, or how much it is. What is it? I don't know. Regardless how stuck it is. No. Regardless of how tight it is around her bum. Like if we look, but we know we're not doing it sexually. We know that we genuinely aren't doing it sexually. And we know that we genuinely weren't going out of our way to want to stare. We're just looking around. I think that's where I draw the line. I think I'd consider that acceptable. But if we're looking and we're staring, and we know why we're staring, we know we're looking to because of lustful thoughts, then that's when it turns unacceptable. Because then we'll be looking at the ladies, or anyone who's wearing tight clothing, even if it's a man wearing tight yoga bottoms or something like that, in a lustful, sexual way. And maybe people might argue, especially if it's a man doing it to a woman, seeing as we as men are the physically stronger sex, in a predatory way. Plus all of the males that are sex offenders, there's that stereotype as well, that just further adds fuel to the fire, that men would be looking at, all men that would could be looking at ladies in a sexually predatory way, even though that absolutely isn't the case. It's that there's this argument that there's not necessarily all men are doing that, but enough men are doing that to the point where they might feel really uncomfortable. And that's fine. To that I say, that's fair enough. On the premise that these sorts of topics are being spoken about in a healthy way, I say that's fine. And if not, if it isn't, I'm still saying that idea is absolutely more than acceptable. However, I say that whichever lady talks about that idea in an angry way, which I've seen once on YouTube. I've seen a white lady do that on YouTube, a white American lady with blonde hair do that on YouTube, talk about that idea with rage. I'd say, although I do believe that that idea is still acceptable and valid, she'd have a lot of rage. It seems like she had a lot of rage to work through. Yeah. I don't want to live. I'm certainly not going to live my life hating men because there are sexual predators, male sexual predators, male sex offenders out there. Just like how I'm not going to go out my way to hate the entire female gender because there are female sex offenders out there as well. I just would much rather go out my way to know that female and male sex offenders do exist. However, I do believe that it is still possible to live in harmony with both men and women, because not every individual, regardless of gender, race, etc., is that way. Not only that, but I don't want to live in I don't want to live with the mind state that anyone could be looking at me in a sexually predatory way, regardless of gender. I don't fancy that. I don't like the idea of that. And I certainly won't go out my way to increase the chances that will happen, or try and provoke that in some way by wearing excessively tight clothing, for example, or doing the male equivalent of that. whatever that is, I don't know. Just because both men and women might look at women in a lustful way because they're wearing tight yoga bottoms doesn't mean that guys would be seen the same way if they were to do the same thing. Maybe if they were wearing a tight t-shirt which really stuck to them and they were very muscular, maybe both men and women would be looking at them in a sexually predatory way. Maybe. But the whole point of what I'm saying is now, on this specific situation is, yeah, sex offenders do exist, for sure. And we can go out of our way to further work through any issues that we've had in the past. For example, both women and men who might have been raped. We can go out of our way to work through all of that trauma that we might have built deep inside of us. I say us, like I've experienced that, I haven't, so I can't say us there, but I'll instead because of that, I'll instead say they can at least go out of their way and attempt to work through all of that trauma that they may have experienced from those events. I imagine, I can't empathise things I haven't gone through that myself, but I certainly can sympathise and imagine that, yeah, absolutely, working on it might not necessarily, they might not feel comfortable doing that overnight, and that's, in my opinion, more than okay with me. However, I do think in order for those sorts of people to live in a healthy way, it's something that is within their best interest to do, so that they don't live with rage and they still get to live with peace, with happiness, and with their health, knowing they're not feeling angry at the world because of their very unfortunate experiences of in the past with dating, for example. Going back to the main topic that I wanted to talk about, which was limerence, I have certainly done my due diligence. I absolutely have. Come out of it on the other side, and I want to talk more about where I think it came from. Well, first of all, hearing all of those lust-inducing thoughts on a daily basis. That's number one. I think that was a part of hearing all of those sexual lyrics were a part of me thinking in a sexual way, in a lustful way in particular. It seems to me like the music industry, especially like the music industry, the mainstream music industry and radio, they like their lust. They like their lust-inducing thoughts. It brings money in, or it brings money in, or digital paychecks, which is just a series of numbers. It might actually bring in physical cash as well, which they would be able to use for, I don't know, who knows. Maybe prizes or something like that, like how I've heard certain radios do. Yeah. So I think that's one place where it came from. Seeing the tight clothing in combination of that lady in particular was wearing, that I referred to earlier on, that just further added to it, because it highlights highlighted her bum. The tight clothing highlighted her bum. Yeah. Women in the gym, not all of them, but some of them wear tight clothing, and that's not something I can change. And it's not something I have the right to change. If ladies want to wear tight clothing, they're gonna wear tight clothing. I don't have that choice to decide what they wear. However, what I can decide to do is to not go to the gym every day. And I believe that that's helpful as well in terms of permanently undoing limerence. In my case, because I am separating myself from all of those lust-inducing thoughts. I'm separating myself. I'm giving myself time to think it through and think, nah, I don't want to be this way. I don't want to be thinking in a lustful way. And I'd be away from the lady I'm referring to in particular. Her name isn't on my mind without prompt anymore, or at least that's what I've experienced, because I've been, ever since the 100 kg leg press, which was yesterday. Ever since that time, I know why I was looking at her in a limerent way, in that sort of lustful, obsessive way, because what she was doing, I was looking at her like she basically had things that I thought I lacked, and or that I told myself that I lacked. And one of those things is being able to lift heavy weights in the gym, and I will call this competence. She was doing 80 kilograms, I remember, on hip bridges as a warm-up. I was doing 100 kg on the leg press as a main exercise. Now, I thought, wow, that was impressive, and I told her, and she smiled, she giggled a little bit, she said thanks, and from there, I think it grew, it being this obsession or whatever it was that led to the point of me staring at her bum for a few seconds, almost as if I was watching, almost looking at her like she was porn, live porn. PORN, yes. Yeah, yeah. And I I pull a face of sadness. I did that automatically, or in terms of conscious activity. It's not something I consciously thought of. And I think that's because deep down I felt sad about the fact that I did that. However, however, I don't need to try and repress that in the form of anger. I can say, I can look, even though when thinking about it, I might have pulled that face seemingly automatically because of how I felt about the fact that I've done that, and I'll never be able to undo that. With a frown on my face, I can look with a smile on my face, knowing that I know better. I know, or at least I believe I know what I did that caused it. Going to the gym every day, which set up the foundations to be seeing her on a regular basis. Telling myself that I lacked competence, telling myself, not, and going out of my way to talk to her and to look at her as the person that I'd obsess over, as a coping mechanism to deal with the fact that I wasn't doing what I truthfully wanted to do, which was hit PBs in the gym, to prove to myself that I can be competent in things that I want to be competent in, which is certainly lifting weights, not necessarily gym going, but lifting weights. And also have more reasons as to why I think it happened outside of that and going to the gym every day, which is the lustful lyrics, the sexual lyrics from like the Nicki Minaj Freak song and the Chris Brown Under the Influence song. And all of the tight clothing as well. It just all coincide together. Just in pursuit, all in pursuit of just profit. All in pursuit of profit. The radio stations, the tight clothing. In the words of Fabletics, so that it looks flattering. When certain people who do gym hauls would say that, that means it makes their bum look big. Makes their bum look massive. I mean, certain ladies, they know what they're doing. They know what's going on in the minds of the people who are watching and commenting, at least for the most part. For those, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful comments. I've seen them myself. Man. Thank goodness I'm away. Oh, that would be another one. That would be another reason as to why I was in that having those sorts of lustful thoughts that meant that I led myself to that point of staring at that lady's bum. Those sexually implicit gym haul videos and the more the more aggressively sexually implicit lingerie try-on hauls. Them two also having half-naked women in the camera roll, which I wouldn't even pay attention to. That too as well. I got rid of them. I've forgotten why they were there anyway. I think there was a set that I had a group of 3 of the same lady that I had, because it's like, what? So these are the sorts of tricks that they're doing for Instagram photos. That's why they were there. But that was me having them there, was just a part, genuinely could have been a part of me being in that lustful mind state, because that was on the mind. Not having sex with that lady, but more so just seeing and understanding, yeah, if they want to be seen in a sexual way, this is what they could be doing, but this is what some of these ladies are doing to make their bum look as big as possible and for their hips to be looking as wide as possible, which is desirable because wider hips mean easier childbirth, which means increased chances of survival through passing on genes in the form of evolution and having babies. But those sorts of ladies might not know that. They might just think, like how that person I'm referring to said, to look slim thick. It doesn't matter how you word it. Even if they say to look ABC 1 2 3 and they mean to look like you got a big bum, it's the same thing. Even if it doesn't matter how they word it. It doesn't matter if they use words only. It doesn't matter if they use numbers to try and describe it. It's the same thing, and that will never change. Never. For as long as mankind wants to evolve, the need or the want, desire for wide hips, for increased chances of successful childbirth will never go away. Never. Society could try and cover that up, or mainstream media might try and cover that up with different looks that they might try and make it seem like they want ladies to have, such as big bums, then small bums. But that hardwired need, and hardwired needs in general, they'll never go away. Never. For as long as mankind wants to evolve and pass on the genes, that'll never go away. Oh no! It's now faceless. Oh, it's completely gone. I was rubbing on the face back when it had its smiley face, not knowing that I'd take it off. I genuinely didn't know, so I was rubbing it off past a certain point to make it not look tacky. But okay. Now here we are. It wasn't high quality. The smiley face wasn't high quality. It's gone today, unfortunately. But it's not like I can't get other ones, so it's cool. But yeah. Oh, you just torpedoed my eye. You just did the Superman. Oh, that's what he just did. He did that to me. Anyway, yeah. If anything, if I'm to experience anything similar like that again, I know what to do. I know to remove myself from that situation. If I'm going to a certain place every single day, go on and off. That from personal experience has worked. Go on and off. Give myself some space. Maybe I'm doing other things outside of that are adding to sexual thoughts, like listening to the radio and hearing the radio even when I have my headphones on, and hearing the radio every day, that with those sexual lyrics every day. That takes a toll. That takes a toll on the mind, and I'll be putting myself in a sexual, lustful mindset by doing that. I can do that, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to be looking at ladies as sex objects, man. I don't see women as only valuable specifically because I can have sex with them. I don't. Ladies have brains, just like how men have brains. They have the ability to think for themselves. I was going to say they're not stupid, but I'll get onto that later. They are not just bodies. They are not just a rack of breasts that you can grab, a pair of cheeks you can grab, and a hole that you can stick your dick in. It's just they just aren't. They're human beings just like us. And I'm not saying that to try and sound sympathetic or caring. It's genuinely just what's on the mind. And again, I'm not saying that for the same reasons either, to try and deceive anyone. I can't be bothered for that, man. I can't be bothered to deceive about this. I can't be bothered to deceive about this. As a human, sometimes, throughout my life, from time to time, not regularly, rarely, but from time to time, and even recently, I have shown deception in my words, but this one, like a normal human being does from time to time, but this one, I'm not willing to do that. And thank goodness I'm not lying to myself and saying I've never been deceptive with my words ever. If I do, it's rare, and if I do, it's for, in my mind, a very valid reason. But I absolutely don't do that regularly. I hate lying. Hate being deceptive. There are some things that I feel the need to do in order to not do that as much as I've been doing recently. I'm not going to further explain what I mean by that and what I'm thinking of doing, but yeah. I want to live honestly as I possibly can, and that thing that I'm thinking about would be another way as to how I can further build on that. Okay, well, I've spoke about limerence. Let's move on to something else. So, pardon me. Learning new skills. Right, so I'm now actually trying out some new things here and there, and I found one way in particular that I'm now using. I'm now using my tablet to help me further learn, and there's a specific learning style that I'm using to help me do that, and it's a learning style that I'm not willing to talk about because I don't want to share everything here on the internet, and there's a specific reason as to why I'm not willing to talk about that. However, I'm not going to get into that, and I'm not really going to get into this learning style unless I want to in the future, but just not right now for reasons I'm not going to explain. However, I've used this new learning style for a couple of days now, since the 9th, and I found it to be very helpful. I now also know that with the tablet that my dad has given me, it comes with a pen, right? And I now know that without it, I can't draw. I can only scroll. Very unfortunately, I can still type, but I can only scroll. That's as far as I'll go with that. Again, for reasons that I'm not going to explain, but at least I further understand how the tablet works through your experience of using it. That new style's working, and I'm going to carry on using that and carry on using different learning styles to help me just further progress in life. Keep on seeing what works and what doesn't work. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy this new learning style that I've been using, and I plan to carry on doing it. It really is as simple as that. It makes learning fun. Makes learning fun. It's not that I found it boring by just reading or by just like watching other people's videos, but I prefer this new learning style that I've been doing as well. Like, I really like it. I found it quite helpful actually. So I'm going to carry on doing it. It's as simple as that. However, I'll leave it at that for now. There's one more thing that I wanted to talk about, and then I will move on to the next section of this main weekly health review, which is digital hygiene. The last note I made was specifically to talk about things that I'm no longer avoiding, and that's something that I spoke about earlier. So on that note, I'm done with this mental health review section of the main weekly health review. Thank goodness. I started at 3:10. It's now 10:20, and it's now time to move on to the next topic. Let's do this. On a side note, before I do start, that was just the tablet pen, by the way. On a side note, before I do start, I can't believe that this video is going to be nearly, if not actually, 3 hours or longer. It's 2 hours and 38 minutes now, with all of the footage that I've collected so far and that I've made. This is one of the longest videos that I've ever made, and I started at 3:10 according to the time on the tablet. It's now 10:35. I started at 3:10 in the evening. It's now 10:35. And within this, I'm going to be on the way to making one of the longest videos I've ever made. People have done much longer than me through live streams, like Ice Cold JT and Destiny, for example. They've done live streams that are a lot longer than 3 hours. People have made movies that are a lot longer than 3 hours. But this is the efforts of one man. No, it's not. I didn't make Apple. I didn't make this phone. I didn't make the editing program called CapCut, which I'm using. I didn't make ByteDance that made this app. I'm assuming it is because that's the company name that it goes under in the App Store. It being CapCut. Yeah. If you go on the App Store, you will see that ByteDance. You'll see ByteDance's name. So I'm assuming that it made it, seeing as I've heard ByteDance made TikTok as well. So actually, in effect, it isn't really the efforts of only one man. It's actually the efforts of potentially hundreds of thousands of individuals, not only in this present day and age, but also in the past too. It's not just me. But anyway, it is, I'd like to say, at least predominantly me, seeing as it's not Apple telling me to make these videos. It's not CapCut telling me to make these videos. It's me on my own will making these videos. Not telling me to make these videos, making these videos. Yeah. Now here we are. Almost 3 hours in, you know. And that's of the video alone. It's taken starting from the time I picked up the camera to make this review at 3:10. It's now been 7 hours and 28 minutes, because it's now 22 to 11. It's now 10:38 p.m. according to the time that's on the tablet. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while, and I plan to keep going. On that note, let's carry on talking about this video. So I wanted to talk about digital health. What do I think about my digital health? Well, I think that I'm improving my digital health. It's not improving, no, I am improving it. I am improving it, and I need to I don't need to, but I believe it's within my best interest to word how I say things very specifically, because it's not just happening. It's me making the effort to do that. Speaking of, I completely forgot that I wanted to be off the screens by 10 o'clock. I forgot, and I want to get this done. I've started it. I'm all the way deep in. I'm gonna finish this. Even though recently, maybe Wednesday, I said that I want to come off the screens at 10 so that I start going to bed and waking up before 12, or well before 12, or before 10 o'clock rather. That's why I'd be doing it. I want to be doing it to wake up earlier so I have more hours awake. I spend more hours awake and out of bed doing things that I want to do. Yeah. And I have been following that outside of today and yesterday. I didn't follow it yesterday. I didn't follow that rule yesterday because I forgot what. I think it was because I wanted to get the review done. Yeah, I wanted to get the the NHS depression and anxiety quiz finally done. So I did that, and since then, again, for a second day in a row, I went against that rule in pursuit of getting things finished. So instead, perhaps that's too strict a rule to follow right now, although I certainly can implement it in the future. Instead, I think what I should carry on doing is every time after I wake up, spend an hour off the screens. Just carry on doing that, and then eventually build more, not discipline. I don't want to use the word discipline, but more structure around my life. I specifically don't want to use the word discipline because when I think discipline, I think punishment, as in like disciplining your child, for example. I've forgotten why. Maybe it's because of the definition of discipline that I've read or seen online. When I say read, I mean read in dictionaries, the dictionaries that I have. I don't know, I'm actually going to get the definition of discipline now. Let's see if this has got it. It's got every word in it. Well, it's got words from every single letter of the English language. It has many words from A to Z. And you think this would be a Captain Obvious moment. It actually isn't. In the dictionary thesaurus that I have, the words for M, N, and O are missing. Seriously. Like, you think dictionaries and thesauruses would have a word for every single letter of the dictionary, but this one doesn't. It misses M, N, and O. It's got this thing here instead. It's about language for life. Yeah, within that language for life section, which teaches you how to write about CVs, letters, and things like that, there's no M, N, or O. This is a section I'm talking about. Yeah. And as you can see, before it, it's L. It's L. Yeah. And then after it, that's the last page. After it, it's P. There's no M, N, or O. Look at the time, man. I'm still doing this at 11:20. I've had some time. I've given myself a break from watching all the videos because I'm done. I'm finito, but I am going to finish this off today. Very, very, very basically, as for my digital health / hygiene, I'm certainly improving it by waking up and coming and not going on the screens for an hour, or at least setting the time to be an hour off the screens, before going back on. I'll just keep on going with that. And I also, as I said, wanted to be off the screens by 10 o'clock, which I did follow for 2 days, but for 2 days in a row, including today, Friday, I went against that rule to do like the self-assessment quiz. And for today, that was yesterday, and then for today, to do this main weekly health review, which the self-assessment quiz was for. Yeah, so I'm certainly improving it, but maybe that 10 o'clock rule at night is too much at this point in time, so I'm going to stop trying to do that for now. But I'll keep on doing the waking up and not going on the screens for 1 hour, or setting a time to be off the screens for 1 hour when I wake up, so that I not only start off the day in a healthy way, but so that I build up the digital health, my digital health in a sustainable way. And speaking about health in general, speaking about health in general, I've got to remember, I can actually write down here in my water intake journal, that I want to watch videos on a constant basis and do what I'm calling seemingly trustworthy and potentially worthwhile exercises. Like how I did with my mental health, with the therapy in a nutshell videos, and by following the exercises that she has on her videos. Yeah. And as for digital health, I want to say it's certainly improving. Just keep on going 1 hour off screens when I wake up. and then I'll be able to build off that. This is something that I wouldn't do, but I did after listening to Healthy Gamer GG's 5 habits that changed my life video, and I thought, you know what, I'll try it out. So I did, and I think it's helped. And speaking of, I'm no longer watching YouTube anywhere near as much, which is, I couldn't have asked for any more, man. This is what I've been wanting for quite a long while, and I said I wasn't against watching YouTube at all. I have watched some even before making this clip now, which I'm fine with, but yeah, it's nowhere near as much as it once was, and I like that, because YouTube can be quite addictive. So I'm gonna say, just keep going, really just keep going with that 1 hour of screens, and allow myself to rest for half an hour when I feel tired, rather than going straight to YouTube to watch videos like how I did in the past. I couldn't last for two and a half minutes watching the Healthy Gamer GG video that I was watching the other day, maybe yesterday or the day before, but I was looking at some of the videos that I made in the past, like the 1 year life transformation journey video, just looking at the proof to see how far I've come, the proof images that I showed of myself on the 21st of August last year, and the one that the 12th of August 2022 photo that came with it, on the flashback part early on in that life transformation journey video. I was just looking back and just watching other videos, because my reasoning for that was because they're there to be enjoyed. I also watched a crow pose video that I made, plank day 106, I think. Yeah. And I was thinking, yeah, I really liked how I made those videos. It was just, I didn't know how well I had it, or how good I had it, like how Mark Manson, I think his name is, said, when basically nobody was watching the videos. I now know, and I've now got to a point in these daily logs where I'm no longer wishing to keep on progressing like how I once did, specifically in terms of the days and wanting to get to day 365 for example. I'm not doing that anymore. I actually liked how I made the videos when I look back then, and I'm not against how I make them now, but I was just looking back and thinking, wow, yeah, I was just a lot less critical and cautious. I think I was cautious to a healthy level, or maybe a healthier level than now. Me saying that would mean that I think that I might be thinking of a caution that I'm taking towards making these videos, with certain things I might say or certain things I might do too much. It might be excessively cautious. However, although that might be true, I'm not sure. It's something that I'd have to think about over time, and it is something that I could work on, because I really liked the level of caution that I had back then. However, if I do work on the amount of caution that I have, I'd be at a higher level than I was back then, at around the day 100s, like day 106, which I referred to with the crow pose footage. I'll be at a higher level because I not only feel comfortable with how much caution I'm showing, but also I'd be more aware. Yeah. Back then, it was basically just me watching the videos, so it didn't even come to mind to go about making these videos as cautiously as I have been now with what I say or what I do. I wouldn't say it's necessarily excessively cautious, but it's certainly more cautious. I certainly go about it in a more cautious way than in the past. I want to get to a level which I consciously like, not something that I I might worry about from time to time without realizing it. Yeah. But anyway, I'm done with this now. I'm going to say, to summarize, keep on doing that 1 hour, no screens every day after waking up. Keep on doing that. And also keep on not going on screens from time to time when I want to have a break. Or maybe watch a video that I've made if I want to have a break and I think I haven't, like today, if I think I haven't watched basically anything and my brain's basically starving due to not consuming anything for the most part and just creating. So like I did today, as I said. So if I think that my brain's starving for food in that sense, then I'll feed it, and I'll feed it healthy foods, or foods that I at least think are healthy. Yeah. Yep. I certainly will, especially after that daily food log I made yesterday, I think it was, when I was saying I could treat like the sort of information and things that I consume that isn't food, like food, and actually think of them as foods, like these dictionaries, as healthy foods, due to being able to use them to know all of the words, to know the meanings of all of the words that I use, and also to learn foreign languages like German, so that I'm not stuck within the limitations of the English language. That's why nowadays I'd want to become a polyglot. I'd want to have that ability to be able to fluently communicate, read, speak, listen, and write fluently in more than 5 languages. Languages specifically that are spoken in numerous countries, so that I can speak to many different people. Or no, that would make it easier for me to speak to many different people, like Spanish, for example. If I learn Spanish, I could speak to Argentine people, most likely. Spanish people, of course. Argentine people from Mexico, Mexican people. That's multiple countries and potentially hundreds of millions of individuals. Or maybe that's too far, but just because those languages are predominantly spoken just because Spanish is predominantly spoken in Spain, Mexico, and Argentina, or so I think, that doesn't mean those are the only countries in which Spanish is being spoken. Spanish is being spoken in the UK. Even as I speak right now, it's being fluently spoken. So I'll be able to speak to many different people on this planet that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to speak to by learning languages that are commonly known, such as Spanish, and also going out my way to learn German, seeing as from personal experience it seems like they've got many different words that I'll be able to use to help me further articulate the thoughts that I have on my mind that there is no English equivalent for. A whole load of them. Like there was one called Sturmfrei, I think, which was basically when your parents aren't home and you're home alone. We don't have a word for that. There's so many different words. There's the staircase joke one that I thought about. I think it's called Vis and Vets, I think. Or that I might misspelled. I might have mispronounced that, which is the comeback that you think of after an argument. That we don't have an English equivalent for that. If I'm actually right about that, that thing, that might not be a thing. But I genuinely think it is after reading up on it on the internet and hearing about it in German class, I think, from memory. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. I really want to go out of my way to learn foreign languages, starting off with German, because of all of the words that I'd be able to use that the English language doesn't have. However, I sense that I'd be learning these languages out of fear, but I want to nip that in the bud right here, right now, when it's when it's young, when it's early, when that fear is young, when that fear is early. I don't want to plant that seed because I know fear is unhealthy. So instead, work through that fear over time and eventually allow myself to learn specifically for the main reason that I'll be able to articulate myself a lot more clearly in ways that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to with the help of the German language, which has many different words that the English language does not have. So I'll start there. I'll start with one, and then another, and then another, and then another, and another, and another, and then I'll just keep on going at it. And I'll probably make an announcement to say when I'm starting to learn these sorts of things, like when I'm starting to learn German, for example. I'd have to think that through so that I can carry on consistently learning it, so that I actually make progress. But yeah, I certainly want to, for sure. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for now. As for my digital hygiene with that 1 hour of screens every day, my advice to myself is to keep on doing that, and then I'll build from there. But anyway, I'm done, and I'm going to move on to the final topic of this video, thank goodness, at 11:35 on a Friday, according to the time on the tablet. It's now 11:37 according to the clock on the phone, or to the time on the phone. Yeah, and it's actually 3 hours long now. This video definitely is not getting uploaded today on a Friday. Definitely isn't. However, as I said, I don't mind. As I said, or my exact wording was, I don't care. Just because it's a certain time on the phone, a certain time shown on the phone does not mean that I can't upload it. It just doesn't. As long as I'm alive, there's always time to do certain things. Always. This is one of them. Anyway, I'm going to carry on talking about planning techniques. I think I'll be planning too much on a daily basis. However, I do think the way how I go about planning, outside of planning too much to do in a day, has improved, because I'm now going at the jugular. I'm now actually doing the things that I've been postponing for well over a year, and for months on end. I'm now learning what it was about how I talk about things that meant that I wasn't doing certain things, such as finishing off the coursework. I was saying, well, I haven't done as much of the posts as I'd like today, over and over and over again, because I'd be doing that and believing that I'd just be getting more. I'd be making myself get more of that, even though that's not what I wanted. Rationally speaking, yeah. Instead, what I've now been doing is putting certain things at a priority. Oh, excuse me. Bladder was really hurting me. My stomach was really hurting me. I think it's all that food, that sort of food I'm eating. And as I was just trying to make myself feel more comfortable, I felt like I hurt my collarbone there. Oh, my collarbone region, right in the center of my right collarbone. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can show it. It shouldn't be red at all. Nah, it's fine, but it just felt very painful, probably because the muscles around that region. Just because that's where the collarbone is doesn't mean it's only bone there, in that region of the body. I need to eat healthily. I need to eat more healthily. And I think as for my financial situation, I'm not excessively holding on to money anymore. I'm getting that A-level PE book I wanted. I'm getting those gymnastics rings that I wanted. And I'm going shopping just like how I wanted. I'm not excessively holding on to money anymore. I'm done with that. However, I've got to make a promise to myself that if I do get those things, especially all at once, I'm gonna have to promise myself that I actually stick to getting everything that I need to do done. Otherwise, I might be stuck. I might be making myself stuck in mud. I might be making myself flounder, which is a new word that I've seen in a Collins Dictionary Thesaurus. Flounder in mud, really just be basically stuck in it and finding it difficult to move. Yeah. Let me just make sure I've used that word correctly. Hold on a sec. But yeah, very basically, planning techniques or how I go about doing things that I want to do off camera is improving. However, I think what I'd be expecting myself to do in a day, I'd more realistically be able to get done in a week. Speaking of this dictionary though, pardon me, it's so strange. It goes to P, to Q to R, and then back to P, and then Q to R again, and then it goes to S to Z. I don't know what that's about, but maybe they explain that in the language flash section that I showed earlier. Yeah, but I'm going to look for flounder to make sure that I've used that word correctly. Fly, yeah, I know what that means. I just saw. Flock, getting close. Flop, nope. Here, plunge and struggle, especially in water or mud. Yeah, flounder. Here. No, hold on a sec. It might be difficult to see, but yeah, it is there. Slowly but surely, I'll know a lot about the English dictionary and what the words actually mean that I'm using, alongside knowing the German dictionaries, the German equivalent of Collins, the German equivalent of the Oxford School Dictionary. Yes, I will. Yes, I absolutely will. There's no way that I'm allowing myself to stay limited to the English language. No, I'm not doing that. I'm absolutely not doing that. No. For me to be stuck in being able to communicate myself to only to such a high standard, I'm not keeping myself stuck. Yeah, but that's those are my thoughts on planning techniques. I can improve. However, I am improving. How I'm going about things is improving, seeing as I'm doing the things that I was putting off. That I was putting off, seeing as I'm not putting them on such a high pedestal by explicitly saying to myself that survival needs for warmth, for water, for food, for shelter, for clothing, they all come first over, and my health as well, come first over any sort of conventional idea of productivity, getting things done. No, all of that productivity stuff, that absolutely does not come first before my basic needs to survive. I need food. I don't need to do the self-assessment quiz in order to survive and to be able to survive another day on this earth and to exist another day on this earth. No, I don't. Perhaps I might need it in order to live my life to the fullest, as far as I'm aware at this point in time. Yeah, perhaps, but perhaps there's a more efficient way, a more efficient site that I could use to help me. Perhaps there's a more efficient way of going about things without using the internet at all that I could use to help me. Yes, for sure. However, that's what I'm using for now. Yeah. If there's any, yes, there's one thing I've actually learned that I didn't really know before. It's a new idea that I've come up with. 1 is the magic number, not 3. One thing at a time. And I'm making this relevant, and I'm saying this because I want to ask myself, what is one thing that I could do in order to improve my planning techniques? Set a maximum of 3 things to do on a daily basis. 3 things that I can just really stick my head in and get done that will take a while. 3 what this book might call deep work tasks. Hold on a sec. 3 deep work tasks. 3 very long tasks. There's a specific way of wording it that is in this book that I've forgotten about. I've forgotten what it was called, but it was a very specific way. Maybe it was within the work deeply part, the rule 1 section of this book. But yeah, one thing at a time. Maybe set myself a maximum of 1 thing rather than a literal 7. Or actually, no, more than 7. Nah, forget that, man. Forget that. I'm not doing that anymore. That's silly. That's silly. I can't do that. I can't do all of that in one day. Forget that. Well, I can't. I could plan to do all of those things in one day, but it's just from personal experience, it hasn't worked. I didn't do it. It's too many things to focus on at once, and it can get very overwhelming, especially seeing as it's very easy. It might be seeing as I've got 7 tasks I expected more than 7 tasks that I expected myself to do on a certain day. It can be very easy to forget that 1 is the magic number and it's 1 thing at a time, not all 7. When I see that, perhaps maybe this is it, maybe this is where it lies. When I see the 7 things, I see, I have to do all of these at once. I can't do that. I can't do that. Maybe one way that I can improve is by coming up with a system to make it very clear to myself that it's 1 thing at a time. Maybe create like 3 things to do a day. Oh, I want to write this down. 3 things to do a day, but within those 3 things, I put like a number system. So like, oh no. Maybe something like this. So this is here to show that I want to do this thing first. But these are all the tasks that I would want to get done. These are all the tasks that I want to get done, all of the deep work tasks that I want to get done. But this part here, the number 1 and then the hyphen, will be to show that I want to get this specific number 1 task done first. Maybe I could do something like that. And then I could put colons for the rest of them. I didn't put colons for any particular reason, but yeah, it's an idea, something that I can formulate. It's something that I could actually use to plan for tomorrow, in fact. But yeah, I'll try that out and I will see how that goes. There was another thing on my mind that I wanted to use, or maybe that was it. Thinking, well, how could I improve in 1 way right now? And yeah, that's it. I've got my way there. So I'll try that out and see how it goes. Self-hug for doing that. Self-hug. And it's time to finally end this video at 10 to midnight. It's time for me to say good night and to say that this main weekly health review is done, and that I'll finally be able to get out on Saturday. or just when I get out, whenever, man. I don't want to think about the days. I don't want to think about the days or the time or anything. No, it just takes away from me. I think it just takes away from me doing what I truthfully want to do. Like thinking, oh no, I can't film a certain video because I can't film. I have to upload a certain video on this day because I wouldn't be 20 by this time. Or no, that's just not how life works. No, I can still upload it. I'm still alive. I can still do it. Don't have to have a fearful attachment to time. No, forget that. But anyway, 9 to 12 at midnight, I'm saying good night and cheers to having another weekly health review down the hatch. I think this is probably the longest video that I've ever made, and cheers to making long ones like this, but just in a more healthy way, not doing them to a point that where I genuinely could be losing healthy sleep over it. But on that note, I'm done, and I'll see you in the next one. I know I won't. Let's see what I get up to in the future. Sometimes I won't be doing it at the most conventional times, but that's just life. I can further work on it so that I'm not doing it so late, so that I'm not losing healthy, so I'm not losing the ability to have a healthy circadian rhythm because of making these videos. Yeah, but anyway, I'm done. If I don't finish it, if I don't end it here, I'm going to carry on talking and I won't stop. So I'll end it here. And cheers to living an amazing life, man. Cheers. Cheers to making things happen. Cheers. Bit by bit, day by day, piece by piece, one thing at a time. One's the magic number, not 3. And on that note, I'm out. Cheers to having another weekly health review down the hatch. Cheers to maintaining my health even through these this financial situation that I'm currently going through. I'll come out on the other side. I'll make sure of it, which these weekly health reviews are here to help me do, to overcome trials and tribulations, not just this specific one, but to overcome them in general, alongside all of the other things I might do. But yeah, anyway, that's it. I'm done. And cheers to living an amazing life, man. Cheers. With all of these videos that I'm making and all that I'm doing off camera to make this happen, I believe I'm entitled to it. I believe I deserve this, an amazing way of life, because I'm putting in the work for it. And I'm going to keep on chipping away. Day by day, piece by piece, bit by bit, one thing at a time. And on that note, I'm done. Peace. Cheers to a healthy future and living an absolutely amazing life.